Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So some daily consolidation began with absolutely no bear follow through whatsoever. They've got a lot more proving to do, and if that's all we're going to see, there's bull flags all over the place. I'll show you what I mean. Before we get to the charts, we are doing our end of the year course sale. So any of our two courses for $180 combined, and you don't need a special code or anything. We just set things up so that is the way it is at checkout. And you can click the link in the pinned comments of this YouTube video to take you to that page. So checking in on SPY, the low of yesterday was 476.06. We broke that level by 14 pennies. Absolutely no bear follow through. Again, it's a very different scenario when you're pulling back. When all of our major sectors are pulling back, it's a different scenario when 2 out of the 3 are pulling back. QQQ, XLV, XLF are the 3 that I'm referring to. And it's a very different scenario when one of them is pulling back and the other 2 are standing firm. And that was today. This morning, QQQ pulled back. XLV and XLF held on just fine for the bulls. And the end result is SPY has absolutely no follow through. So if the bears are going to prove anything, look how much space we have for this to be a daily bull flag. We can drop another 2% plus and still be a potential daily bull flag. We're not close to hourly oversold conditions. We know the next time we get there, it'll be an hourly back burner trade coming from all-time highs. So bulls are extremely comfortable. The red flag, the first red flag would be if we lose daily EMA 12 support, which isn't even close to being tested. QQQ, a little bit more pullback, but again, a potential daily bull flag. The bulls would have to change the hourly trend back in their favor, and we ended the day with a tightening range. High of the day, low of the day. Scouting an hourly lower high into the close. We'll see if the bulls can hold the low of today tomorrow to try and shape up that equilibrium. Hourly RSI got close to oversold but didn't quite get there. And again, tons of space. Do either retracements, can drop all the way down, another 2% plus, less than that, 1.5%. Again, use daily EMA 12. If daily EMA 12 holds, the bulls are just fine, and we'll be looking back at that all-time high still. Semiconductors, also extremely strong. We broke the low of yesterday with no follow-through. Plenty of space for the bull flag. EMA 12 as a guide. Bulls need an hourly trend change back in their favor. We are technically in hourly downtrends on these names, but just downtrends with zero follow-through. Tesla, same deal, lower wick. Hourly time frame, bounce to a lower high. Potential for an equilibrium. Bulls would need the hourly trend change back in their favor for a quick daily higher low to form. As long as the EMA support holds on the back test, the bulls are just fine, scouting that higher low, still needing to prove the trend change, but again, healthy daily consolidation at this point. Healthcare, still the lead bull sector. This move over the last month has just been absolute strength. We've closed higher than we opened every single day except for 4 times this month. New all-time high every single day, 4 days in a row now. Hourly uptrend, anything above 140 will be an hourly higher low. Tons of space for the bulls to work with. 135.38 is our last daily higher low. Lead bull sector. So again, if your lead bull sector is up at all-time highs and QQQ is dropping, it's going to help offset that a good bit. XLF, daily inside bar. If it breaks bear, we already did this. We already broke the low. We started daily consolidation with zero follow through. And now our other sectors are doing it as well. But if we do break the double bottom at 39.14, we're going to be looking back to that low of 38.74 as a short-term support level. Just keeping in mind that I still don't consider this a daily trend change back to the bulls yet. And considering it's coming from the low, just like IWM, we do need to see that proving. So, watching for it. IWM, daily consolidation begins, potential bull flag, solid bounce. If we break the high of today, tomorrow, it's an hourly trend change back to the bulls, and that's very quickly setting a daily higher low. Little inverse head and shoulders. We don't have much of a right shoulder forming here, but watching for that trend change back to the bulls. So the takeaway today was, yes, daily consolidation started in a lot of places where it has been due, but absolutely nothing stands out to me for the bears out of every name that we just looked at, which means bears have to show up with volume to change that. If they don't, bulls are just fine. Biotech sector is weaker. It was stronger on the initial bounce. It's weaker on this pullback. No other sector that we just looked at has consolidated nearly as much the last 3 days. I still would expect a higher low compared to 106.88 initially, but the pullback is significant enough that we are watching for the potential that the next time we confirm an hourly trend change to the bulls and start the daily bounce, we may just be looking to form that lower high compared to 119.21 because of the amount of space that was created. So still a bunch of volatility in both directions. And we had a little pop on a rumor about a BIIB buyout. That did not stick. And we have a wide range that we are watching to tighten up within. MSOS has my attention. I like this setup to make an attempt at a bullish entry for a trend change. Why do I like it? Well, number one, big picture, I'm expecting a higher low compared to the all-time low on the monthly time frame. Daily time frame, trend change attempt. What stands out to me is the increasing bull volume, the highest volume day, the day before the holiday, all bulls. Low volume consolidation, high volume on the daily higher low attempt. I need an hourly trend change. That's not real after hours there. So the trade set up here for a low risk, high reward entry is playing off the low of today. I don't want to play off 23.08. That at the moment is 8% away. That's too much risk. Not worth the reward. I have to play off of 24.22. So that means the next time we see hourly consolidation, the bulls have created plenty of space for an hourly high or low, anything above 24.22. I look to scale in 1, maybe 2 entries on hourly pullback. I put my stop under 24.22 with a little bit of wiggle room. If that is our daily high or low and the bulls confirm the hourly trend change, we are set up well to confirm the daily trend change as well because the resistance will be right there up at 25.74. If not, if it fails, stop out on the break of 24.22 or 24 psychological. And for me, that risk is worth the reward. The reward potential, let's say my entry is an average of 24.70. I'm risking, let's say 60 cents on a stop out. And the potential reward, if we confirm the daily trend change, is a couple dollars. If we confirm the daily trend change, we zoom out, we scout a weekly lower high, anything under 33.80, lots of space for that weekly lower high to form. But again, keeping an eye out for the volume to give me clues. And the monthly volume is very, very high the last 2 months. And I look for volume climaxes to indicate tops and bottoms. We'll see. Bulls have all the proving to do. But again, I like the low risk, solid reward. Dollar, bear break on the daily. Loss of the daily higher lows for the first time in over 2 months. Good sign for commodity bulls. Good sign for broader market bulls. Good sign for crypto bulls. And we'll see if the dollar bears now can follow through. Keeping in mind, we're looking for a 6-month lower high on the dollar, but we need to lose the weekly EMA 12 if we're going to be looking for that to be a possibility anytime soon. CCJ, also looking to make an entry. I'm looking to scale in. Already made one entry today, 22.22, and I'll make another one. Not sure where. It depends on how it looks. I don't want to use 20.02 as a stop. My initial position here is tiny. If we drop down and break 22.20 or $20, then I will lose a day maker and 10%. So that is how small my position sizing is. 10% drop, and that's all I'll lose. So I want more of a position, but I'm being patient because I'm waiting for signs that a daily higher low is being established. The trade setup that I'm looking for from here is a big enough hourly bounce to have me confident making an entry for an hourly higher low and placing the stop for all of my positions under the low at that point. That is either the daily higher low and I nailed it, or it's not and I stop out with acceptable small risk. Very similar to the MSOS trade. And again, the reason here, I'm even more confident here than MSOS. The reason is we're in a monthly uptrend. I'm scouting a monthly higher low. And MSOS is in a downtrend on all the longer term time frames. But for CCJ, I'm scouting for a second swing entry, but but patiently waiting for the bulls to give me some sign and give me some new support level to play off of that is higher than 2002. Trades that I took today was live streaming this morning. I swung SQQQ. Live streaming this morning was talking about how on a bounce on QQQ, I would look to double down on if we made it up to 402.60, I would double down and enter SQQQ because the risk reward would be favorable. I would just top fish the high of the day at that point. So we got there. I missed it. I was answering questions or looking at other charts, and we ended up rolling over, and that would have been a wonderful trade entry. But that's the way it goes. Definitely a little bit more difficult to trade while live streaming and interacting with people, but it's part of the game. So that was nice. Exited my SQQQ position on this bull break right here because it was a tightening range and the bulls proved it enough to me. Said, okay, I don't want to be short SQQ anymore. So I no longer have a short position at the moment. I'll see if I want another one tomorrow, depending on what the setup is. Other than that, I traded NIO. And again, this was while live streaming and we just had this absolute collapse on the morning. And I was a little bit cautious because I was expecting SPY and QQQ to start daily consolidation today, which they did, but I was looking for a bit more follow through, or at least I wanted to protect against the possibility that we saw follow through. So I did play this bounce and started scaling in. 27.73 was my first entry. I would have made a second entry on a break of 27.50. So it almost was ideal because if we broke 27.50, I would have a great average and would have placed my stop based on dollar risk at that point, but only got the one fill. And on the initial bounce, I did not like this looking like a 5-minute bear flag, and I exited half of it at break even. So I just knocked my position size down, and because I wasn't confident, and it was the prevailing QQQ and SPY anticipating daily consolidation. In hindsight, it would have been ideal to re-enter the half, bottom fish the low of the day, 27.52, place the entire stop loss under that level, and obviously that would have worked out. In the end, I just kept my smaller position and knew that if I'm going to make it worthwhile, I got to see an hourly oversold bounce play out, and I got to sell the hourly lower high. So I set my sights on 28.50 initially, just as a rough estimation to try and sell under hourly EMA 12 resistance. So we climbed up to that level slowly, slowly, slowly. I didn't like right here how it started to look like a rising wedge. We broke to the high of the day with no follow through. So I sold half right there. And then I saw this is a rising wedge and I am scouting an hourly lower high. So I exited both positions in the 28.40s and then I went short. Pulling up the exactly what it was. So short NIO, 28.51 stop, no reaction to QQQ break and scouting hourly lower high, enough for a small risk for me. So at that point in time, where's my NIO chart? So again, this is how I use other sectors and correlations to help guide my trade. At this point in time, what I'm talking about here is this move right here. This 5-minute candle on QQQ and the continuation after it was at 2:10 p.m. And at that point in time, NIO at 2:10 p.m. was doing this, going in the opposite direction. So I said, okay, that's a bearish correlation. So I know that if QQQ were to see any kind of weakness, NIO would likely see it magnified. And I'm scouting an NIO hourly lower high. So I make my bearish entry. I think my fill was 28.43 or so. I placed my stop at 28.51. Did I stop out right at the high of the day? No, because I recognized my trend line was right where my stop was. So from there, moving stop to 28.55 as my resistance line is right there. And I said, do you believe in miracles? Because I missed stopping out by literally 1 penny. And then we finally rolled over and covered that into the end of the day. Covered it at about 28.20 as I was about to go live streaming. Couldn't keep watching it, but really nice trade setup. So got the bounce, got the short, and nice to play the same ticker in both directions with worthwhile moves in both directions. I think that's all I did today. I did make an attempt on MARA for a 15-minute higher low, and I got it here. And we got a big enough bounce where I went risk-free and I stopped out, break even, and I gave it one more attempt, looking for an hourly higher low on Bitcoin, and then stopped out with a small loss as bulls were unable to set one. I think that was it as far as trades I took today. Again, still just coasting into the end of the year. 2 more trading days. Looking forward to 2022. Going to start working on a Trader New Year's resolution video, which I've done the past couple of years. You can go back and watch the previous ones, but I will make that and release it over the weekend. Just some reflections and some forward-looking goals and all that stuff. I hope you're well. Do good things. See you tomorrow. Adventure time, 1.5 million. We're going to Fifth Water Hot Springs in Utah. And it's a really cool spot. This is walking up to it, and this is a river. It looks like you're playing putt-putt mini golf, but it's just the minerals and sulfur in the water, making it that aqua blue with a bunch of different little pools that people have, established rocks around to make different depths and different temperatures. And again, just another one where you hike up a few miles and you camp. And yeah, there's a bunch of people there in the middle of the day, but if you are there at sunset when it's dark, or you're there first thing in the morning, really it's first thing in the morning because people stay up late. But if you wake up with the sun and you go somewhere you want to be alone, you're usually going to be alone. There's usually not many other people that are going to wake up that early. So just a nice river in a nice little canyon with trees and a nice little soak. From there, went to Arches National Park, and Arches is right near Canyonlands National Park. So if you do one, you got to do the other. Went to Arches and then Canyonlands, and had some nice memories. I remember I took a shower in a downpour where I was sitting in my car and it was pouring rain and I hadn't showered in a while, and I figured might as well bust out the Bronner's and shower in the downpour. So I did that. Camped just outside of the park. Don't think there... Actually, no, I camped in the park. That's right. So there's just a bunch of arches, and it's just the way that the wind erodes the sandstone, which is pretty soft. You could definitely chisel away with it with a chisel. But it's all different kinds of formations and nice vast expanses and red rocks and interesting. That's going to fall sometime soon, you got to figure. But just a cool spot with a bunch of arches. So I ended up picking a spot to camp on by just walking towards the end of the trail and being alone and on some rocks and waiting for the sunset. There's me. And it looked like it was the Lion King in terms of the vast African expanse, but it's not. That's where my tent was. And for the sunset, there was actually some cool rounded rocks that I was sleeping on. And again, definitely need an inflatable air mattress when sleeping on rocks. There's also nowhere to stake in your tent. So I had to put my water jug on one end and my bag on the other to keep the tent expanded. But again, it's the kind of thing where if you're camping out in the open like that, exposed, you're going to wake up with the sun. It's going to be shining right on you. And that gets you starting the day before everybody else. And I find that in the last few years, as I've really been smashing it with all my effort and time into trading, that getting up before the sun every day, including most weekend days, allows me to get a ton accomplished while everybody else is just waking up. So if you want to get ahead of the game, put in more time and effort and wake up early. There's the sunset, and that's it. We're going to go to Canyonlands next. Canyonlands is an epic place. Encountered some cool people there. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Adventure time number 1 million. We got, where are we? We are in fall 5th. Shut up. Shut up.